What is going on, everybody? Been a little bit. We got a night off tonight. So you know what? We're going to go over a little bit of a series recap here. Obviously, the Orioles went 1-2 in the series, but did they lose more than just a series? Let's find out.
Big town sport, yeah, we run the O's talk. Best of Baltimore, yeah, you know we don't stop. If you rock with the birds, hit subscribe right now. Orange and black, we leading the crowd.
So like I said, did they lose more than a series? Question will be answered tomorrow as Zach Eflin left with right elbow discomfort in the middle of the fourth inning here at about, 74, 77 pitches or something like that. Obviously not good. I felt like Zach was kind of cruising along a little bit. We'll kind of get through that here, but hearing that he has to get elbow imaging done, he got it done yesterday, but we'll find out tomorrow, probably right before game time in Pittsburgh here tomorrow, about what the status of Zach Eflin is going to be. Now, right now, he is on the 15-day IL, so you can go approximately about 2 weeks. I would guess you're probably going to at least miss 3 to 5 starts of Zach if it's not Tommy John at this point, but let's be honest with ourselves. Anytime you hear about right elbow discomfort, what can we say? About 80, 90% of the time is Tommy John. So not looking good for Zach. But what I will say is there's a little bit of optimism. Maybe it's not Tommy John. And maybe this is why here. So after he throws his pitch, watch him. He doesn't really kind of grimace at the arm, doesn't look at the arm, doesn't shake the arm, and actually asks for the ball back. I don't know if that's adrenaline or whatnot, but maybe a slint of optimism there that maybe he's okay. Anytime you hear elbow nowadays, it's never really usually okay. But, we'll keep our hopes up and, to see what we hear tomorrow, whatnot. But, for the most part, Zach looked really good in his season debut. A lot of people didn't think he was quite ready. Maybe the question marks is, was he maybe not ready? He didn't throw too many innings down in spring training, but all in all, Zach looked pretty good. I do want to go over some things though, because his stats were kind of odd to me. And, these are the kind of outs that he got. And Zach looked really good. He was keeping the ball down for the most part. He had that one sweeper that the 9-hole hitter, hit out for a home run, but it's the Orioles. They can't get 9-hole hitters out for some reason. But all in all, Zach had 74 pitches, faced 17 batters. He had, just 2 walks, and he had, what do you have, strikeout? He had 7 strikeouts. He had a 41% K rate, and he also had a 35% whiff rate going on. So Zach had everything kind of working for him, but when I look at some things here, he gave up a double, he gave up the home run. The slugging was a .533 against him, and the WOBA was a .389, and the hard hit percentage was 75%. 75%. They had 11.8% barrel per plate appearance. Like, that's astronomical. So they were seeing the ball well on him, and they were hitting it pretty hard. You can see their launch angle here. They were hitting most of their balls well over 95 miles an hour. Some of them were well over 104, 107. So they were seeing the ball pretty good off Zach Eflin, even though they were swinging through it. It was something about that sinker. He mainly led with the changeup. When I last looked at it, I believe he had like 40% changeups thrown. And I'm going to pull it back here just to make sure. That's the wrong thing. Anyway, yeah. Whoa, what did I just do here? 40% changeups all in all for Zach Eflin. It was working. Like, the sinker didn't really work. The sweeper's the one that got hit out a little bit. But he looked good. He looked like a guy that you could trust at your number 5 spot. He looked like a guy that, we saw back in 2024, even though he was getting the ball kind of hard, hit hard off him just a little bit. But it looked promising. I was at the game. I was 3 rows behind the dugout here with Rick Arnold. He may or may not be in the chat here tonight. We went to the game together. It looked good. The hard hit rate obviously talks a different story, but Zach just had a lot of confidence on the mound. The guys looked excited for him to be pitching. Everything looked like it was going good. And then he had that pitch. That pitch that we don't really want to talk about. This one right here. Right? Throws a curveball way out of the zone and just kind of holds the arm a little limp. But again, he did kind of ask for the ball again. But I don't know. I don't want to dwell too much on it. We're going to find out more tomorrow. I'm sure one of our beat writers is going to be on it fairly quickly. If you guys are new here, go ahead and drop a like on the stream. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We do this kind of stuff all the time. Become a member. I don't know what I have for members, but I appreciate your support. I will find something. I've been 3D printing some Orioles stuff, so maybe I'll start 3D printing stuff for the members here, but we'll figure it out. But let's talk about the Rangers series in general. So I tweeted this out this morning. What did they do against the Rangers with 2 outs offensively? 15 for 41. They had a 366 average with 2 outs. They had 5 doubles, a home run, a 561 slugging, a 409 on base percentage, a 427 weighted on base average, 22% K rate. K rate there's been a lot of talk about the K rate so far to start this year. K rate was a little bit better in this series, not great. They had a 61% hard hit rate against the Rangers with a 467 batting average on balls in play. Now, runners in scoring position, it wasn't great, but it was effective. They were 5 for 21, a 238 average, 3 walks, 5 Ks, a 299 weighted on base average, and a 278 batting average on balls in play. Runners on third base, less than 2 outs. Again, not too many here. They were 1 for 2 with a K and a walk, and 1 sacrifice fly. So, limited opportunities, obviously, but they did what they were supposed to do. And that was the big thing here. They did what they were supposed to do. And I also tweeted this earlier. If you don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead and go over there. I post these kind of stats all day long. Maybe annoying to some people. I don't know. But if you're into that, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. Orioles faced some good pitching so far these first 6 games. And I say that because Taj Bradley had a career day. You know, when you look at his baseball savant, he's never done the things that he did against the Orioles in his career. Now, he's had better numbers in his career, but as far as the ball was moving, the Pro Plus stuff and stuff, he's never had a better day. So he had it going on against the Orioles. Obviously, Joe Ryan's one of the better guys in baseball because we want him for a reason. Jacob deGrom's one of the best. Now, Bailey Ober's, whatever. And Mark Leiter had it going on. He's never had a day in his career like he did against the Orioles. Go figure, right? But all in all, they're 26th in at-bats with 37 total at-bats with runners in scoring position, so they don't get many opportunities. But they're 14th with 12 hits. They're 7th with 21 RBIs. So when they're getting they're basically driving in multiple guys when it comes to guys with runners in scoring position. They're 8th with 7 walks. Now, a lot of people say they're striking out a lot, but they're second best with just 8 strikeouts. They're finally putting the ball in play. They're 4th with a 324 average. They're 5th with a 541 slugging, hitting a lot of extra base hits with runners in scoring position. And they're 3rd with a 945 OPS. So my question was, do you still think the hitting approach is the same as 2025? My simple answer, no. Mainly because you have 17 new players on this roster that weren't on opening day last year. You have a whole new coaching staff. To me, I can't sit here and say that the approach is the same, right? What did you have basically from last year? Opening day. Adley, Kowser, and Gunnar? Is that about it? Right? Because Westberg's hurt. Mayo wasn't there. Basayo wasn't there yet. Beavers wasn't there yet. Oh, you had Tyler O'Neill too. I'm sorry. And Tyler O'Neill. Pretty much the entire rest of your roster, this was their first opening day with Baltimore. So I can't sit here and say, the hitting approach was the exact same. I feel like these guys have gotten better in limited opportunities, and they're performing. They did have the one really bad game against the Twins. I won't discredit that. But the Texas series here, they really turned it on. They really turned it on. And some of the things that I wanted to talk about was in 2025, right? This team could crush the fastball, and they were terrible against the changeup. Now, last year they hit 206, and so that they saw 2,759 changeups last year and hit 206. So basically, they had 674 bats against the changeup and hit 206. Four-seam fastball, they hit 242. And the two-seam fastball, they hit 278. Now, again, numbers are a little skewed here, obviously, because they traded away a bunch of guys at the deadline and whatnot. But all in all, that's kind of how the Orioles were pitched. Fast forward here to 2026. We're going to talk about the approach again. Fastballs right now, they've seen 28% fastballs. They're hitting 313 on the four-seam fastball. 313. The slider, they're still hitting 179. I think the slider's the worry pitch this year. The changeup last year, 206, remember? Small sample size so far, but they've seen 14% changeups this year. It was a good bet. They've seen 116 changeups, second most that they've seen this year. 290. 290 against the changeup. I mean, you want to talk about approach being different, going from 206 to 290. Yes, the limited sample size. To me, that's a different approach. Teams are not throwing the two-seamer against us right now almost at all. They've only thrown it 70 times, and they've given up a 430 average. 430 with 3 home runs. I'm willing to bet that teams are going to stop throwing the Orioles two-seamers because they're hitting them. They're hitting them hard. But look, things that we can kind of group together, split finger, slider, curveball, they're pretty pathetic at that right now. That's something they definitely have to work on. Yes, you can tell they put emphasis on changeups. Right now, curveball's hitting 111 through 81 pitches. They're hitting 176 off the split finger. They've seen 93 of those. Now, what kind of worries me is the whiff rate on some of these, right? The slider, they got a 42% whiff rate. Changeup is still a 35%. So you're whiffing on a good bit of them, but they're seeing so many of them, they are getting some hits on them. Split finger, 38%. Curveball, 42%. So if it ain't straight, they're whiffing. I mean, they're still whiffing through some fastballs, 20% through the four-seam, but just 7% through the two-seam. Again, they're hammering two-seams. And then you go back to Joe Ryan's knuckleball, 69% whiff rate. And that was just through Joe Ryan, 14. So nobody else has threw them a knuckle curve so far. I said knuckleball, I'm sorry. But I can't sit here and say that this approach in 26 is the same as 25. I feel like it's completely different. Have they kind of focused on certain things? Yeah, I really do think they focused on a changeup. And it's probably taken a little bit of a damper on the split finger and the curveball, but this is what baseball is. Sometimes it's a game of adjustments. And I've made the post about how Leiter, we heard it on the broadcast, he threw like 19% more changeups than they threw all the previous season. So we'll see how teams, especially Pittsburgh, Mitch Keller, the guy who's pitching tomorrow night, is all he throws is four seams and two seams. That's basically 60% his pitch mix. We'll see what he does, because right now he's only throwing like 9% changeups. So I'll be interested to see if they get around 15 to 20%. But there's been another hot topic. And I see Rick's here. Has there been a later update? And he's talking about Zach Eflin. No update as of now. I've reached out to a couple people. He did have the MRI. We are expected to be informed of what this MRI is tomorrow. They're being very tight-lipped about it. They're not telling anyone about anything. So, yeah, I don't know how to take that personally. I feel like if it was a good thing, maybe a rumor or two would have bleeped out, but you never know. The Orioles have been trying to hide a lot lately. But again, another big topic, Taylor Ward, leadoff, right? A lot of people didn't like it after that Twins series, didn't understand it, and they wanted to see Gunnar Henderson. So I wanted to basically put together some slides here and show you, and we can compare them with with each other here to see really if Gunnar is the answer at leadoff. Me, I'll tell you straight up, I don't think Taylor Ward's the answer, but I think he's the best option right now. And we're going to go into why. I understand they won a lot of baseball games with Gunnar Henderson leading off, and he hit extremely well. But you're going to find out why you may have a different opinion than me, but we may come to a conclusion here that it's probably the right thing not to lead him off. But let's take a look. Taylor Ward in this series was 7 for 13, 538 average, 2 doubles, 4 RBIs, slash line of 538, 500, 692, and a 1,192 OPS. He was on fire. 3 hits off the changeup too, by the way. So with bases empty, this is last year. We had this is this year, I'm sorry. 7th most at-bats with bases empty this year. Right? Do you want Gunnar Henderson leading off with bases empty? So that's 18 plate appearances. Ward's 4 for 16, 2 walks, 5 Ks, right? 2025, last year, we had the 2nd most plate appearances with bases empty. 507 plate appearances with nobody on base for the leadoff hitter. Now, granted, leadoff hitter usually just leads off once a game, right? Well, there's a big thing just because of that. If 7, 8, and 9 are not getting on, what is the point of having Gunnar Henderson lead off? That's my question. And last year, they had multiple people that could not get on in front of him. Now, this year, I feel like the lineup's a little bit deeper, and maybe that works. Maybe. But with runners in scoring position last year, they were dead last with plate appearances with runners in scoring position out of the leadoff spot with just 136 for the entire season. Again, that goes back to your 8-9 hitters just not getting on base. Do you want to waste Gunnar Henderson that often without anybody on? Again, another season. But let's look at between Ward and Henderson, right? These are basically your best options right now between the two guys that are on the team because of injuries. Their careers with bases empty. And you can see they're fairly similar, right? Plate appearances are within 200. Hits are within 70. Obviously, Gunnar's leading in most of these, right? More home runs, more walks, more strikeouts, which isn't great, but a better average too, right? But you see this and you're like, yeah, I want Gunnar Henderson to lead off, right? He hits pretty well with runners, with nobody on. But he's better with guys on. And this is why I don't want him leading off, right? When you look at what they both do, and Taylor Ward's a guy that is touted to be driving in runs all the time. Plate appearances, they're within 40, right? They're pretty close. Gunnar has more hits. He's got more doubles. He's got more home runs. He's got more RBIs. He's got more walks. He's got less strikeouts, and he's got a better average. So when you look at this and you look at what they do with nobody on base, and it's, I would say, somewhat similar, and then you look at this with what they do with runners in scoring position, I want Gunnar Henderson with people on more than I want Taylor Ward up with people on. I'm not saying that Taylor Ward can't do it. I'm just saying Gunnar Henderson's built for that moment. That's the guy I want. I'd even say maybe 2-hole is slightly too high for him. But because of the injuries right now, this is just kind of what works. Did they maybe have plans for Dylan Beavers to lead off? Maybe. And I think maybe that knee injury kind of threw a wrinkle into everything. And then it was like, okay, we just got to go with the guy who's had the most experience doing this. Now Dylan's kind of back healthy. He's hitting the ball well. Do we see him sneak in there? I don't know, because it's working. It's working right now. I tried to pull it earlier, and I couldn't without spending hours looking at it, but I spent a little bit of time for it, and I only got back to about 2024, and the 2024, I think it was like August 24th to the 29th, was the last 6-game period that the Orioles had sent the top 3 guys of the lineup out in a row for 6 games. August 29th, 2024 was the last time the top 3 hitters were the exact same for 6 games. So consistency is a big thing. We saw they stayed consistent, and what happened? Well, Gunnar Henderson started to hit a little bit. Taylor Ward started to hit a lot. Pete Alonso kind of woke up a little bit. And, Adley Rutschman and Samuel Basayo got some good at-bats. Dylan Beavers. These guys are getting good playing time. They're kind of getting comfortable to one another. And things kind of panned out there those last 2 games. Now, granted, yes, the Orioles went 1-2 in that series, but the game that Rick and I were at and the game yesterday, that offense looked pretty good. They did their job. Now, the bullpen kind of bit the dust just a little bit, and we'll get into some of that a little bit. But so far, bullpen's not great. Bullpen's not great. Oh, God, I had it pulled up. Oh, what did the bullpen do against Texas? Well, they faced 57 batters, right? Obviously, they had 2 pretty long games that they had to kind of deal with here, but 57 total batters, gave up 14 hits as a bullpen, 9 earned runs, 3 home runs, 3 walks, 14 Ks, which is okay. But they gave a 259 average, a 298 on base percentage, and a 500 slugging. They got rocked a little bit. They gave up an average of 97 mile an hour exit velocity. They got rocked a little bit. 24% K rate was okay. They had a 1.31 whip, and the xFIP kind of shows that they were okay. They were a 3.83 xFIP, even though they were a 6-something ERA. That's okay. That's the discrepancies there when you have expected stats or whatnot. But hard hit percentage, 50%. So I don't even know what to say to that. I think we all know is majority Geraldo. And I tweeted it myself. Geraldo had almost no confidence on that mound. And he was throwing up there, but he wasn't pitching. And I've seen him better than that. It's just, I don't know what to do with him at this point because he's got decent pitches. They're just not locating. And I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, cut the guy and whatnot, because it sucks to say about people, but I don't see how he helps right at this moment. I think he could definitely benefit from going back down to work on things. But speaking of working on things, I was been kind of peeking in at Norfolk a little bit. Trey Gibson having a very rough time to start his season. He did make it through 4 tonight. It was ugly. Went through 4 innings, gave up 9 hits, 4 runs, 3 Ks, 1 walk, 1 home run. To start his season, he's got a 7.71 ERA. Granted, it's early. He's only pitched about 9 innings so far. But he's given up a lot of hits. But still, that's what you're there for. You're there to work on stuff. And I think Geraldo could definitely benefit from that. I'm just not sure. Jackson Holliday is not playing tonight. I'm pretty sure he's probably getting a scheduled night off, which I'm really not sure why, but this is how they do rehab assignments and whatnot. They give you your day off, which maybe it makes sense. Look, the guy didn't have a spring training, but he also has an injury that he cannot physically hurt again. So I don't, unless maybe they're just trying to keep his legs fresh. I don't really know how that works, but all in all, his bullpen is not in a good shape, right? They got hit around a little bit. They look good against the Twins. They looked pretty good against the Twins. We didn't get to see Ryan Helsley the last 2 games here, so I don't know what else to say. I mean, I was at the game when Eflin got hurt. Grant Wolfram got hit pretty hard. I think he had 3 balls all over 105 miles an hour hit off of him, and his velocity was down a little bit, so he didn't look as dominant as he did prior. Tyler Wells to begin this season, command hasn't been there just yet. The stuff looks okay. He's always pitched, up in the zone, which to me, when you're throwing changeups, they better not be up in the zone, but they have been. He's been getting hit kind of hard a little bit. I feel like all in all, through the first 6 games, almost nobody except for Trevor Rogers had command of the ball at all. It was like, we watched these guys throw upper 60s, maybe mid 70s as far as strike percentage goes. And then they get here. Kyle Bradish had a 36% strike rate. It was just rough. And guys were just not throwing the ball as accurately and having the command on all of their pitches as we've seen. Shane Baz didn't have what he had. Chris Bassett. Chris Bassett's a career command guy. All these guys, I think, were just trying to impress everybody their first time through. Like we mentioned earlier in the stream, there's 17 brand new guys on this baseball team. 17. So there's a lot of people that are really trying to impress the crowd early, especially when you open up it at home. Nerves are flowing and whatnot. You got all these guys making their first starts for Baltimore. You got Zach Eflin coming back off an injury, obviously wanting to prove a whole lot. I think everybody and their mother was kind of amped up a little bit, just a little bit. They still finished out 3-3. Could they have been 4-2? Maybe. If the bullpen did a job against Texas, I think they were going to win that second game against DeGrom. It happens. But you don't want it to happen as often as it did last year. These games do matter, but being early and whatnot, it's still nice to see that this team hasn't clicked yet and they've still found a way to win. I feel like there's been times that the pitching looked really good and the hitting was meh, and then the hitting was great and the pitching was meh, right? So if you can kind of get that to finally click, we'll say mid-April or whatnot, and then, go on a good little run there, you're going to have your hiccups here and there. That's just baseball. But when this team finally clicks together, pitching and hitting, and we start getting a little bit of power kind of mixed in there, I think we're going to be okay. It's nice to see them scratching and clawing and finding a way to win right now, at least 3 times, with nothing truly clicking together. Like that's nice for me. But all in all, what else can we say? The Rangers series it started off terrible and it ended good. And that's if you're going to lose 2 games in a series, you want to end that 3rd game much better than just winning 2-1 or something like that in a boring game. So to come out and swing the bat, not have any kind of hangover of the last 2 games, not have any kind of hangover of the bullpen blowing it, the 5th, 6th inning, the game prior. It's just good to see, right? Short memory, kind of get through that kind of stuff, and just go back out and play good baseball. And they did. They took good at bats. They hit changeups all over the ballpark. They in the zone, out of the zone. And I posted earlier Let me see if I can find it again. About the amount of fastballs they've seen this year, which is crazy. They've seen the third fewest amount of fastballs in the league right now through these first 6 games. But they also have the third highest average against them at 337. Now that's 4-seam, 2-seam, and cutter combined there. 5 home runs is tied for the third most against fastballs with a 19.5% whiff rate, which is the 7th lowest. So they're doing pretty good against the fastball there. Coming into the Texas series, they had seen the most off speed. And I think with Jacob deGrom throwing a ton of sliders, and let me tell you, Rick can probably attest to this if he's still in the chat. Them sliders that Jacob deGrom was throwing, filthy. It was like a freaking Frisbee up there. I mean, I'm talking ball moving 25 inches, right? It ideally was. I mean, most of the StatCast on the stadium was saying 15 to 18, but if you're a hitter, you're looking 25 inches. Like, that thing was just, and it was a hard bite. I'm not going to sit here and say any one of these guys should have hit it because it was tough. He was on his game, and he was looking good, and he was throwing it good. He was feeling confident. He was only sitting about 97, which for Jacob deGrom, I think maybe nowadays is probably normal, but vintage Jacob deGrom, I feel like I've seen harder, more consistently at least, but I'm not really sure. But if you guys are still sitting around and you're ever on YouTube, I truly appreciate it. Please go ahead and hit that like button. It helps YouTube push this stuff out. Comments and likes is a big driver for YouTube to push this to new people. And obviously, we're trying to grow the community, get more Orioles fans in here to talk about stuff. We've met a ton of it just since middle of last year. A ton of you new guys are in here all the time chatting, and I truly appreciate it. And plenty of you guys have great conversations over here. I'm trying to peek over while we're talking, but you guys are flowing away over there. But let's get to some of your guys' comments here because I know you guys are eager to talk baseball, and I'm eager to talk it with you. So let's scroll them back up here, and let's see what we got here. So British Raven says here, so he just get fined. What's good? So I do fine British Raven about $30 a stream if he's not here. So thank you for coming in. No, I'm just kidding. I don't fine him. Appreciate you coming in. We got Laura. What's going on? BC Baseball. What's up? Jabo, baby number 3 will be here tomorrow. Dude, congratulations, brother. That's awesome. Get your sleep in now because you're about the next 6 years, you're not going to have any whatsoever. Take it from experience here. So, but yeah, congratulations, dude. You're gonna have a blast with it. Enjoy it because it goes quick. It goes quick, man. Laura says, like, subscribe, become a member. Thank you, Laura. Appreciate it. Let's see here. Oriole says, is Jackson Holiday back? It'd be surprising if he was. I really think he's probably just getting a night off tonight just to kind of rest the legs because he didn't really go through spring training. To only have 3 games, or was it 3 or 4, and then come right back up, I don't think the Orioles are pressing to have him, to be completely honest with you. Maybe he comes up. I just don't see it. I don't see that. The need is just not there just yet, unless they want to slide Blaze over to third base more often, which, I mean, Mayo's played okay. He swung and missed a little bit, but he's played pretty good all in all. And maybe he catches fire again here in the Pittsburgh series. I mean, he was pretty comfortable with them in spring training, so we'll see. But I don't know if they're going to rush Holiday back that much. Like I said, he can't re-injure the injury, but not having a spring training, not really having his legs underneath of him, what are you going to get out of him the first week and a half if you call him up right away? That would be my question. He says Zach was dealing. Yeah, he looked good. He looked good. They were hitting it hard, but he looked good. Laura says, I think Jackson will come back next week, maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. That would be in what, Chicago? I could maybe see it. If he played 2 or 3 more games in Norfolk and then met him in Chicago, I could see that. And I think that would be good for him too. Yeah, yep. Let's see. Yes, Rick and I went to the game. Yep. We met up at Pickles before. Excuse me. And we sat and chatted with Ryan Ripken for a second. Then we went in, enjoyed the game. We had great seats. We had real good food. And then, we had a great time. Great time. Mark says, it appears the Giants may be in the market for a first baseman after Casey Schmidt's performance. Elias should be knocking on the door. Mark, what do you think they could get for Ryan Mountcastle? And speaking of Ryan Mountcastle, I had this discussion with somebody earlier. They were asking, who goes down when Jackson Holiday comes back? Who goes down? And the easiest answer, and it's probably not the most likable answer, is Jeremiah Jackson. Right? He's got options. You don't lose anybody. Blaze doesn't have the options. Ryan Mountcastle, maybe could trade him. If they could have traded Ryan Mountcastle, I think they would have done it by now. But I started pulling some numbers. Ryan Mountcastle versus lefties, which is what they've kind of touted him for being on the roster right now, wasn't very good last year. Jeremiah Jackson had better numbers in less opportunities. He had more RBIs, he had more home runs in less opportunities. And when you look at their, I guess we just stick with last year because Jeremiah doesn't have really a career to look at it. But career-wise, obviously, Mountcastle very good. But if you go off last year, you have nothing to really go off of. And then you look at Kobe Mayo. I mean, Kobe's no better than Mountcastle against lefties. Kobe can't hit lefties right now. Didn't really see him in the minors, but when he did, it didn't hit him all that great. And so far in the majors, it's better than Mountcastle last year, but it's not outstanding. What if they DFA'd Ryan Mountcastle? Because you can't find a trade partner for him. You don't want to send down Jackson because Jackson plays everything okay. He's not the greatest defender in the world, but he's hitting. Now, I get it. He's got less than 200 career at-bats, but I think all of us as fans can honestly say, like, what we've seen out of Jeremiah Jackson, like, we're pleased with that. We want him to stay around. And if it came down between, like, him and Mountcastle and who goes, like, it's easy to say, okay, I'll just send Jackson out because he's got an option. But if he's better for your big league team against lefties, plays more positions, hits with runners in scoring position. I mean, Mountcastle does too, but Jackson drives in runs rather than just hits. I think you got to keep Jackson. I mean, I could be completely wrong here. I really could be. Because one injury to Pete and then you don't have a good first baseman anymore. I could be wrong there too. I mean, maybe Mayo is, but what do you do? I mean, you got Basayo. Is he a good first baseman? Not better than Ryan Mountcastle, but again, it comes down to the bat. Jeremiah Jackson has the bat, more recent bat. It's just been better against the very thing that you've told us what Ryan Mountcastle was on the team for. So I don't know. It crossed my mind. What if they DFA'd Ryan Mountcastle just because they can't trade him? I don't know. But that'd be interesting. If the Giants had something available and they'd be willing to give it up, they definitely should be asking. Richard says, a hurt guy got hurt. While it's disappointing, it's not surprising. I saw remain in my wait-and-see mode when it comes to the Orioles and Ravens. Both teams are boom or bust. I think that's pretty fair to say, man. I don't think you said anything wrong there. And it sucks for Zach Eflin because he's a good dude, and he's good when he's healthy. But some guys, just bad luck, man. Just bad luck. And he did everything he could to get back and get healthy and get back early and not have to hit the IL. Did he rush it? I don't know. But it really sucks. I feel for the guy. I really do. Good question. I should have read it down a little bit farther because I knew the question was going to be in here eventually, but I really don't know. I think the easy answer is Jeremiah Jackson, but the hard answer is Ryan Mountcastle DFA'd. And you gave him a 2-year deal, so I don't know if you DFA him, but like, do you just keep hanging on to a guy that's just not as good as somebody else on your big league team for just defense? I got a hard time thinking. I don't know. I don't know. Sean made a good point here. Gunnar was not on the opening day roster last year because he had the intercostal injury. I forgot about that. Yes, it was just 3 or 4 guys that were on opening day team last year. Charm City says, sad to say, I'm not overly surprised about the news about Eflin. I can't say that I'm surprised, but I'm disappointed. And not in him, but just in general. Like, I was really hoping we wouldn't get bit by the injury bug this year. And I was really hoping, especially for a guy like that, like, he took a nice deal to come back here, like a prove-it deal. He wanted to do better for us, for the team, like for us as fans. It's a bummer. So you really pray that, we haven't heard them talk about anything kind of popping. We pray that maybe I don't know. Even if it's slightly torn, I mean, we saw that with Bradish. It doesn't go well. I don't know, man. It sucks so bad. How much you getting for Trevor Rogers? 5 for 140. Definitely better than Rangers Suarez. I think that's a good starting point for Trevor Rogers. 5 for 150. I think it's a good starting point, honestly. I think he's at this point, he's deserved it. I mean, how much more are you going to have to prove it? Because at that point, if you just keep proving it, obviously then the price goes up. The thing with him is, knock on wood, the velocity's stayed good. Slight tick up from last year, right? So it's not like he's losing velocity like Ranger Suarez was. Command is good. He's shown the ability to put traffic on the bases and navigate around it. Like he's doing what he should. He's going to get payday. I think 5 for 150 is a good starting point. Good starting point. Let's see here. Lucas Giolito is still a free agent. I don't think Giolito's the right fit for this team. I don't know. Mike Elias obviously would have a much better gauge on that, but I don't see how he fits into this rotation. He was a guy that gave up a lot of hard contact last year, but had a low ERA. In Cannon yards against some of these teams, I don't know if I would trust him. Apparently, Kopech wants to be a starter again. Let's do it. He's not built up at all right now. At all. I don't even know what he's waiting for, dude. Like, at some point, you got to just say, like, hey, get me into the bullpen and let's figure it out later. But I don't know what he's trying to do. Richard said Gunnar doesn't need to lead off. I kind of agree with you. Jackson says, how about Cowser leading off? Makes a lot of sense, and I'm more confident at seeing some of his at-bats this year. I've thought about Adley, right? You don't want Adley Rutschman to swing for the fence. He's got a good swing on him. He can have extra base hits. We've seen him work counts fairly well. He's taken walks all throughout his career. He's pretty decent at fighting the ball off and working counts. I think he'd be a great leadoff guy in terms of getting on base. Obviously, he's not fast, but at this point, if you get on in front of Gunnar Henderson and Pete Alonso, like I feel like they should probably drive the ball far enough that you could probably score from second. That's just me, but I don't know. I mean, Cowser, maybe we've seen him do it a couple times. Beavers is another good one. He's got a good eye. Jeremiah Jackson's got a good eye. It'd be really weird to talk about a guy sending him down for Jackson Holiday, but then also use him as a leadoff hitter. It's just, they've got options. I just don't know what the best option is right now, to be honest with you. And speaking of Jeremiah Jackson, yeah, there you go. You got to DFA Tavares when Holiday comes back. Alexander's not going to clear waivers, and Jeremiah Jackson's playing too well. I don't know if Tavares is the right answer either, because he's like a surefire glove in the outfield, and you don't have one. I mean, Cowser's probably your most well-rounded starting outfielder in terms of glove and stuff. Beavers maybe as a 2. Beavers isn't the best in the world defensively, but he's serviceable. He's just like Cowser. He's serviceable. Tavares is a head and shoulders defensive player above everybody else that we have, and that's excellent to have late in the game. Obviously, Blaze Alexander is good himself. I would say he's probably right around the same range as Beavers. But again, like, do you want to take a guy that is learning outfield, or do you want to take a guy that's really, really good at outfield? It's got some speed too. I mean, I'm keeping the speed. I'm keeping the outfield glove, and I'm keeping Blaze too. It's going to be a tough call. It's going to be such a tough call. Single against Eovaldi and put bat to ball and a fastball down 0-2 and beat it out. Yeah, Cowser's done that a couple times this year. They give him a ton of space down the third base line, put the ball in play, beat it out, hit a ground ball to shortstop. Seager couldn't throw him out. It's refreshing to see so far. Dino was supposed to pitch tomorrow, but I'm sure they'll scratch that and he go in the Eflin spot. Yeah, maybe. Sign Giolito or Kopech? I'd take Kopech, man, but I don't know if I need him as a starter. Like, dude, you had a good career in the bullpen. Like, why change it again? But I don't know. J. Chas says, I got some wild thoughts. Right now, bullpen I hate. Sirius was my biggest concern. It's bad. I don't think Aiken and Kitcher fix it. I don't think they fix it, but I do think they kind of level out a little bit. They get you some more veteran guys in situations that you'd have to use Geraldo right now. Instead of Geraldo, you get to use Kittredge. Instead of using Cano in the 7th or 8th, you get to use Kittredge. Cano gets the 6th. I think we all feel a little bit more comfortable with Cano in the 6th than we do in the 8th. So they don't fix anything. I think they just they bring the floor up a little bit higher. Kind of like we were talking about with Bassett in the starting rotation. It just brings the floor a little bit higher. Now, Aiken's proven to get some guys out. Kittredge obviously gets a lot of guys out. So they just help you out. Maybe you don't have to rely on Tyler Wells in the 8th as much, right? Get him in the 7th inning, a little bit less, high leverage, and maybe he settles down with the command a little bit. Kittredge is going to be just fine in that 8th inning role. So it just brings everybody up just a little bit better. But I don't know. We'll see. Jeremiah Jackson will get sent down for Jackson Holiday for better or for worse. Probably, but hopefully not. So I just got here, but at least we're not going with a different lineup every game like Brandon Hyde. Yeah. So like I said, it was August 29th of 2024 was the most recent one that I could find, which is just crazy to me. Just absolutely crazy that it's been that long. I think the bullpen just needed this 2-day reset. It certainly helps. It helps guys like Wolfram. Helsley at this point, I want to throw, so he's not sitting around too long. But, Wells could have used it. And, it was good for a lot of guys. Yeah, I completely agree with you there. Geraldo, I personally think Geraldo comes up with an injury, and we've seen Dino, because they used the injury, Zach's injury for Suarez to get him here to get some kind of bullpen help. But I think Geraldo comes up hurt at some point. At least they'll say that because the velocity is down. So they're going to say probably hurt or something, send him on a rehab assignment and bring Dino up in that injury position. So it just makes too much sense. We'll see. We're still not ready to bring in Trevor Bauer. I think he's blacklisted in Major League Baseball. I think he signed with the Long Island Ducks today, which is like an independent ball team. He's their opening day starter if anybody cares. But it'd be kind of cool to see what he does back in the U.S. Independent ball, you got some pretty good college hitters that don't get drafted. You've got some ex-Major League players, not Major League, but minor league players, maybe some Major Leagues. It'd be interesting to see. Long Island Ducks are pretty decent. I believe that's where Wei and Chen went and Chance Cisco. So, they got a pretty decent squad up there. So we'll see how he pans out. Jackson says, now you can throw the guys you trust in games. You need them rather than having high leverage guys throwing blowouts because everybody's burnt out. Yes, that will help. Big time. Charm City says, Alexander's out of options. If I recall, he won't clear waivers. You DFA Tavares and your backup center fielders, Alexander and Beavers. That's what I don't know. Like, do you want to take on two guys that really have never played center field before and just dump a guy who's considered one of the best defenders in center field? That's a tough call. That's a really tough call. Excuse me. I don't know. Tough call. Got to assume a phantom IL stint for Dean to come up 4-7. Are you trying to get people in trouble? You can't just put that out in the open. But yes. So I don't understand this one. Keep Suarez when you call. Oh, keep Suarez when you do call up Kramer and send down Geraldo. Yes. Send Jeremiah down. Keep Tavares, especially after the game he had yesterday. He's a solid outfielder. Yeah, he's definitely a good outfielder. Got a good power. He's got good arm too. Now listen, Tavares isn't terrible, and I didn't think he was going to make the team because of how he hit last year. The more I looked into him, and I don't even know how I overlooked this. Donnie Ecker's first year in Texas, Tavares hit 266 with 14 home runs. I think it was like 60-some RBIs. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now Donnie Ecker's here. You'd have to think that Donnie probably put a good word in for Tavares to bring him here. I'd probably like the guy. He swung the bat well yesterday. He swung it okay in spring training. You have to think that Donnie probably worked with Tavares again to get him to a pretty decent point. Like, I think maybe we can throw last year out the window and just see what we get out of this guy. Like, don't expect him to kind of stink. Now, if he goes back to stinking, that's one thing. But I think he kind of deserves a clean slate just to see what, as a backup player, to see what he can do. Because he did do so well with Donnie Ecker in 2023 with Texas. That's a fairly important part to their World Series team. Now, I don't think he played a whole lot in the playoffs, but he hit well enough to get him there all year. So, like I said, Donnie had to have some kind of voice into somebody, say, like, this guy's a free agent. We don't really have a backup center fielder. Like, for his price range, he's probably perfect. I can fix him. If he's going to keep swinging it, you keep him. You keep him. But I don't know. The defense is just too good for me. What was it like watching DeGrom live? Think he's a Hall of Famer? 1,000%. 1,000% Hall of Famer. If he stays healthy. That's the big thing, man. He's got to stay healthy to pitch a little bit longer. But if he keeps doing what he does, nasty. Nasty. I've seen Max Scherzer live. Max Scherzer and Kevin Gossman one time. I went down to DC and we were home, or no, we weren't home. This is back when like Machado and Scope were around. I think we won in like the 8th or 9th inning. Scope hit a double off the wall for like the go ahead run or something. But watching Max was incredible itself. I was about 5 rows up then, and I was 3 rows up last night watching, or 2 nights ago watching DeGrom. And man, DeGrom is good. He's good. Just poised, confident, effortless. Everything he does, effortless. So I thought it was cool. And they hit him well. It wasn't amazing, but they hit him well for as good as he is. I thought they hit him fairly well. Mountie DFA for Holiday, JJ more valuable? It's very possible, man. Imagine Mountie has options left. He would, but he's past the service time years, so they're gone now. Yeah, they're all gone now. Rick said it was awesome, Jabo. We were close. The catcher's glove was popping loud, and the bats were even louder when they hit him. Yeah, that was cool. And I mean, most of you guys saw the video that I posted on Twitter when Gunnar hit that 2-run double with 2 outs. That was sick. Yeah, the sound being that close and hearing the players in the dugout kind of jump out and scream and stuff, it was cool. It was really neat. Orioles says, best podcast on YouTube, and it's not even close. I appreciate that. I wouldn't say the best on YouTube. Maybe in Birdland, but there's a lot of good podcasts on YouTube, especially in Red Sox Nation. Red Sox Nation's huge. I got a long way to go to catch those guys, but I appreciate it. We're trying to work on it, man. We're trying to work on it. James says, why not sign Giolito? I just don't know if he fits. James, I don't know. It's a good question. I don't think I'm qualified to answer that, to be honest with you. He had, numbers wise, a pretty good season last year, but the Red Sox didn't want him back for a reason. Like, not even for the bullpen or something. Nothing. They didn't even talk to him. Now, obviously they have Ranger and whatnot, but it's just weird that like no one's talked to him at all. So it's like, why should we? That's kind of how I feel about it. Like, even if are we desperate enough that no one else wants him, that we should take him? Like, because that's like a Craig Kimbrell thing or Charlie Morton thing. Do you just pick a guy up because you think you need him, like, even though you have Dean? I don't know. I'd rock with Dean over Giolito. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I'm with Jabba though. I'm leery of signing guys who didn't have a spring training, right? Because you're waiting on them. You have time to wait on them? I don't know. I don't think you do. Excuse me. If it were me, I wouldn't rush Jackson, let him build up his strength. And that's what I was kind of wondering. Are they building his leg strength back up? It's been a while. Could get tired. I mean, he'd probably get tired within a week playing every day again. So yeah, you gotta chill a little bit. Are you buying that the corresponding move for Eflin wasn't Kramer? I like bringing up Suarez to give us some innings yesterday. No, because you needed the bullpen help and you brought Suarez up to be the bullpen help. You don't need another starter for 5 more days. So you had room to work around it. You bring up Suarez, now you got a bullpen. You got an extra bullpen arm for 5 days. Well, now 4 days, or 4 more games with a day off included. So you give a little bit more rest. And if you got to make a corresponding move, send out Geraldo or something. I think that's the better move because Geraldo is still here. Now, say if you get up 8 runs on Pittsburgh, that's a Geraldo game. Instead of a Suarez, now you use Geraldo. Maybe you do it twice, right? Use Geraldo twice, and then you ship him out and bring up Dean Kramer. That's much better than moving, just Dean just sitting around. and then having to call up a bullpen arm later. So I think they made the right call. They're just going to have to find a way to definitely get Kramer here somehow before that next start. Jackson's still blowing up and real bad. Just not too sure how well he's going to play against MLB pitching. Yeah, I never understood that. He likes to pull open bad, but a lot of guys teach, clearing the hips nowadays. That's the big thing, is they want to clear the hips, get the barrel through the zone. A guy like him, his hands are so fast. I wish he would just realize that him hitting the ball to left field is still okay. It's still okay, but it's just a game we live in nowadays. It's not like when you were younger, and you and I talk about swings all the time. The game's just not like that anymore. Everybody just wants the long ball. They want extra base hits. They want slugging. So they're gonna open the front side a little bit. They're gonna cheat a little bit, and they're gonna try to get that barrel to the zone. They're gonna try to pull the ball. They're gonna stay middle and try to pull. So I think that's Jackson's full game, and he'll squirt some into left field once in a while, but I don't think he wants to drive the ball to left field. Left center, maybe, but left field, no. I don't think he wants to drive the ball left field at all. Maybe he'll squirt one in there, but he'll drive it to left center, right field. That's where he's going to make his money. And I'm pretty sure plenty of people have been in his ear about that. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. It's just the game that we play in nowadays. I'm hoping someone trades us some bullpen help from Mountie. Seems like someone could definitely use him. I think he would benefit from a fresh start. But if you're an opposing team and you're looking at this trade and you're just like, what value am I getting out of Ryan Mountcastle right now? And what am I willing to give up? That's hard. That's a hard judgment to make. Because you don't want to send up nothing too good, right? But do the Orioles benefit from a project either? It just doesn't seem like there's anything kind of panning out right now. And I think they were hoping that they give Ryan Mountcastle some at-bats and he kind of take off. And it just opportunity hasn't been there enough for him to really take off. I'll say that. But we'll see. Things happen, man. I honestly think Mountcastle is DFA'd at this point, and he does clear waivers. That's possible. I don't know if he clears it, but we'll see. Says, of course, I'm talking about Holiday. I like JJ a lot. I love Blar. Blake's got a cannon. He's got a cannon. It's an excellent point about Mountcastle. That's the move that should happen. Maybe it does. Maybe it's a tough call, man. It's a real tough call. But to me, it comes down to defense. But Mountie's good at defense, but Jeremiah is okay enough at multiple positions. So I think I'd take the guy that's okay enough. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. This seems mean. Ryan Mountcastle's the Kyle Bowler of the Baltimore Orioles. Everything looks good, but between the lines, nothing. It's so mean to compare him to Kyle Bowler. Kyle Bowler, God, scarred so many football fans for life. And he's not Bowler bad. Yeah. I get what he's saying. Yeah, I get what he's saying. Bowler looked good. Everything looked good about Mountcastle. Everything started good with Mountcastle. I get what he's saying, but it's just mean to say it's Bowler. I'd trade O'Neal for any left-handed pitcher I could get before he hurts himself again. I think O'Neal's going to have an all right season, especially because he's going to platoon a lot with Beavers, and he's probably not going to he does look slimmer too. He doesn't look like his hamstrings are going to snap every time he bends over or anything like that. So, maybe he does keep himself healthy, but if you get 130 games out of O'Neal, 120, which I know he's only done a couple times in his career, I think that's more than enough because you have Dylan Beavers. Mountie gets base hits, but he hasn't hit for power and had one of the better averages on the team the last couple of years. Right. And that's the thing is, but now that you have Jeremiah Jackson, who's also hitting for pretty decent average, who does have a little bit of power, and he's driving in runs, I think you go with that. But I don't know. Please no Wells starts. I don't think Wells starts again. Shaky's the outfield defense has been. Tavares has to stay. I think, I definitely agree with you. Best in Burley, I appreciate you guys. Did I do a deep dive into Bradish's first start? I didn't. It was ugly. He couldn't get the ball over the plate. Strike one to start, save his life. I think he was league worst through the first two starts. I haven't looked at it since. But It was like a 35 or 36% first strike rate. It was pathetic. He just couldn't get the ball over the plate. But I don't know. He'll be better. He'll be better. That's a guy we've seen struggle once or twice, and he comes back and he throws the ball well. Thank God we didn't sign Ranger Suarez. He's been horrible. It's early, and he could still finish fairly well. Again, he's another guy I feel like is trying to impress everybody. But, I mean, if he continues to suck for a while, then yeah, definitely thank God. Definitely thank God. Framber was a hard watch as well. He pitched good this first one. Did he pitch again? I haven't looked. I haven't looked in a while. Because this trade Mountie, I think they've been trying. I really do think they've been trying. I just don't think there's anything there. But I don't know, man. I don't know. Look at Anuno's struggle in the outfield. It's crazy. I think he's won 2 Gold Gloves. A lot of that's injuries too. He used to be able to run. He used to be able to run really well. And yeah, I mean, I'm with you. Yeah, at times he looks pretty shaky out there, but it was a different era too. You know, he was younger and he was a little bit more athletic. And I feel like the talent pool in the outfield, we're talking 4 or 5 years ago. I don't think it was as good as it is now. There's a lot of young players in the league that are really, really good now. Where a couple of years ago, I mean, think about it, like guys like Nick Castellanos were like the crop of the outfield back then. I mean, there's a couple good guys. But maybe it was just slim pickings. I don't know. I didn't truly watch him enough back then. We'd have to talk to a Cardinals fan about that. But I mean, all in all, he won it, so you can't take it away from him, you know? Joe celebrates 5 months of membership. Kick butt stuff, Zach. Keep it up. O's win 108. I appreciate it, Joe. I truly appreciate you being a member for 5 months, man. And it's always cool that people just want to support me like that. So thank all of you that are members, and thank any of you that will ever consider it down the road. Truly, truly appreciate it. Speaking of Wells, how long is his leash? He's looked bad. Maybe yeah. So when you get Kittredge back, I think it kind of just moves him down a little bit. I think he's just trying too hard right now. I think he's okay. I think the leash is fairly long. He's pitched okay. The exit velocities aren't all that hard against him. You know, he's given up some duck farts. You know, not Bradish. Bassett gave up, what was it, like five of the hits against Bassett were less than 70 miles an hour off the bat. Yeah, that's just choking up, put it in play at that point, you know? And it was unfortunate, but Wells hasn't been spanked around the field. So I think his leash is okay. It's just going to come down to, just locating the ball. And if the leverage thing is one thing, then yeah, when Kittredge comes back, you move into the 6th or 7th inning. I think it's perfectly fine for him. Let him get comfortable again. It's been a while since he's been in the bullpen, and it's a different beast. Every little thing is magnified, and it's a mental thing. So yeah, I think he's okay, all in all. Rick said it was 43 degrees when Bradis pitched. He'll be nails, but I'm not worried about him at all. Yeah, and I talked about it on Twitter too. Even when Boz pitched, that was only the 3rd time in his career he's ever made a start below 60 degrees. Some of these guys aren't used to that. I'm not making any excuses because obviously the other team was doing really well in there and didn't have an issue at all, but our guys just didn't. So, I'll give him a half a hall pass, just a half, because if they come back out and pitch okay, maybe that was the reason. We'll find out soon, right? We shall find out soon. Mountie has become that roommate that you want to kick out into the street, but nobody else will take him, and the house is already crowded. Yeah, he's still a good dude, though, but we'll see. We'll see. Peralta's already looking much better now. Elias screwed up again. Eflin didn't even make it past the first week of that injury, and people thought he could make it through a full season. I don't think so. Peralta costed a ton of prospects, like a ton, for a guy that hasn't even signed an extension yet. Right, so if they don't get an extension for him, they gave away two or three top 5 prospects for him for 1 year. I don't know, man. Yeah, Jackson kind of it's a little incomparable, but I would love to have had him, but I don't know if I was giving all that up without him signing an extension. If he was signing an extension, sure, I'd give it up in a heartbeat. But he hasn't yet, so I don't know. O's had more than enough to trade Peralta. Don't go there. They did, but I mean, you got to be smart about it too. You don't want to just throw everything away and then then he just walks, right? Because that just sucks. They threw a lot away for Baz, but they turned around and gave him an extension, and he signed it. Peralta wasn't going to be that easy, so I don't know. I don't know. It's time to have conversations about Westberg. Is it just yet? I get why we probably want to, but it's not like Kobe Mayo grabbed the bull by the horns. He's looked good, but he didn't grab the bull by the horns immediately like he could have, and start hitting the ball over the ballpark. Played well defensively, but I mean, the swing and miss is still there for Kobe. It could be fine, but I'm just saying, like, I think it's just too early to say. I mean, if Westberg's able to make it back like Santander did, not have a surgery, and be okay, and hits, I don't know if we had that conversation just yet. I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I think it's still a wait and see on him. It's still a wait and see. I don't know. But yeah, I can't deny this. Some guys just never stay healthy. I can't deny that. I don't think anybody can. It just sucks because you don't have a true answer just yet. Just yet. Now, by the time maybe Westberg comes back, maybe we'll have more of an answer. Maybe Blaze just takes over third base. Maybe Mayo just takes over third base. Maybe Mayo starts hitting 10, 15 home runs by then. I don't know. But we got to see it first before we just make any kind of decisions. The 6 games in, I don't think that's enough time to make any kind of a decision. But maybe like 26 games in, maybe we can get a clearer picture. And if we're still sitting right here where we're saying like, okay, when Mayo's hitting like 220, he's got, a 25, 30% whiff rate. He's got 6 home runs. Like, are we that confident? Just say, yeah, see you later, Westberg. I don't think so. So it's still going to be a wait and see thing for me. We'll see. Whether they re-sign Peralta or they sign some other ace, what's the difference? They still had to sign somebody. And that I agree with. And I think they wanted Peralta. Everybody did, but the price that the Mets gave up was a little ridiculous. I don't think they wanted to do that. I guess I can't blame them either. I don't know. Peralta wants a 7-year deal. I'd give him a 7-year deal if he pitches well again. I just wouldn't give all that up for him to say, I want a 7-year deal and I'm hitting free agency and then walk out the door. That would have sucked. We got to sign Trevor first? Yeah, I agree with that. Rick said, hopefully we can get Peralta, and then we sign Trevor first. I see it now. My bad. Westy's got to prove he's healthy before you can trade him. Who's going to trade? They don't. Yeah, that's true. Who's going to trade for something they don't know it's broken? Who knows, man? Mark says, Westy can't stay on the field. One day, maybe, could get Wally pipped. Yeah, it's a wait and see for him, man. It really is. It really is. It stinks. And I agree with that, Randall. Yep, leave him alone for 30 games and see where we're at. 6 games, it's just, it's way too early to make a call on anything. He could have a Taylor Ward and go, what is he, 7 for 15 or something? And then we're having a completely different conversation 3 games from now, Anything can happen. So yeah, 30 games I think is a really, really good market there for him to kind of see where we're at. Nolan Rymel, clear example. Couldn't stay healthy. Yeah, I'm an example too. It happens, man. It happens. Assume Gunnar is extending a guarantee for the moment with 3 contracts worth $60+ million and counting. Will there ever be an over/under 6.5 contracts of over $60 million before Gunnar's contract is made? I don't know. I mean, look at some of these contracts. I think they're stupid, personally, to be paying all these young guys that haven't done anything. Basayo's contract, that's one thing. $68 million, whatever. It's a lot of money, but if he doesn't pan out, whatever. $140 million for a 19-year-old, like, that's a lot. Like, I know he's going to be a pretty decent player, but, like, these guys talked up Jackson Holliday to be a really freaking good player, too, and he's not there yet. I don't know. I don't know. Now, Connor's got a little bit better defensively, better arm, more power, but you could easily turn in Jackson Holiday too. It's crazy to me. I don't know. Trade for Vientos while his stock is low. Does Vientos bring much to this team over Westberg? If Westberg's healthy, I don't know. You don't see Gunnar sign an extension? It's possible. I think he wants to be here. It just unfortunately has Scott Boras in his ear telling him he's worth a lot of money. But I don't know. We'll see. And Joy says, I don't expect to see much of Westy this year. Most likely we have to go for that surgery repair eventually. I don't know on that one because several position players have gotten the injection and been fine. You know, it's the pitchers that typically aren't, but obviously you throw more and you throw harder and more velocity on the elbow, but we'll see. The Santander had it for us. I mean, and was fine. Just missed minimal time and then was back and played years without ever getting it fixed. So we'll see. Ace says, what happened to Cowser? No pop at all. I don't think he's just selling out just for a fastball right now. I think he's legitimately trying to put the ball in play. And I mean, when you look down the lineup, nobody really has the pop right now. They face some really good pitching so far. And that's a big deal right there. But I think it comes with time here. I mean, you may see a couple home runs hit against Keller this weekend. Tomorrow, I mean, Keller throws a lot of fastballs, and we're a fastball hitting team. So we'll see. It'll come. I mean, 6 games. You'd like to maybe see 1 home run by now? Yeah. But I think it's coming. Do you guys think it's worth putting the inevitable when a guy gets injured? The strategy is burn them before Bradish and Felix. I think you got to try because every body, like a person's body reacts differently to everything. So you got to try. I mean, because it worked for Santander while he was here. So I don't know. It's worked for others. I think you got to try. I mean, especially for a position player because it's not as long as a rehab, but I don't know. Trade for Joe Ryan at the deadline and sign him to an extension. It's very possible. Very possible. Look, Joe Ryan's going to cost a lot, and there's going to be a lot of teams in on him. We have a good amount of stuff. We don't have more than the Yankees, though, and we don't have more than the Red Sox. So if one of those 2 teams really want him, we're probably going to get him because their top 100 guys are just better than ours right now. We have a good, deep farm, but theirs are just deeper. So you either have to overpay or get lucky, which I don't think you're going to get lucky. I don't know. Vientos is the worst Mayo. Yeah, I don't know enough about Vientos to think that he's a whole bunch. This is why do you keep banging that drum? He needs a fresh start. Fresh starts, they do work. They do work. I mean, look at Ryan O'Hearn. Westy is such an important piece. It's a shame we can't keep him healthy. Yeah, I mean, I completely agree, man. It kind of sucks for him, for us. I don't know, man. I don't know. Yeah, Westy on the 60-day. He'll be ready, what? Is it March 28th? If anything, it's maybe like June 1st. It's not that far away. But it's kind of about what we want. The Angels trade 4 players with injury history and required no physicals. All right. And they give up a power hitting right-handed outfielder. Hey, listen, Jose Soriano is the guy that I want. If you can't land Joe Ryan, I want Jose Soriano from the Angels. That dude is a beast. Beast. Has been for a while, too. And he's got a couple more years control. I think we need to trade Gunnar if a deal isn't going to get done before he hits free agency. Can't have another flop return like Machado. We could always get Gunnar back. I don't think we'll. Once he goes somewhere, he's signing somewhere. I think the O's are headed for a partial rebuild. I think they just partially rebuild this offseason, didn't they? I mean, brought in 17 new guys. They could do a partial rebuild. You're talking bringing in another 15 more guys. That'd be crazy. If we don't trade him, we'll get squat. Are you talking about Gunnar? I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Yeah. If you're a winning ball club, you don't want to trade him anyway. We're not Tampa Bay. You don't just trade away good players while you're doing well, but I'm not sure. I think Gunner's going to stay, but I could be wrong. I think Gunner wants to be here. I think Mountie would be happy in San Diego. Who wouldn't? I can't argue that sentence at all. I think everybody would be. San Diego's a beautiful place, I'd love to be out there if I could. But, man, I've been rolling for an hour and 10 minutes by myself. It's crazy. It's crazy. People complaining about Taylor Ward. He could have been Grayson Rodriguez and have 0 innings pitched. I doubt he pitches again this year. I wonder if he ever pitches again. That's my question. Does he ever pitch again? Effectively. I'm not saying he won't throw the baseball, but does he pitch in the major leagues with the velocity dropping every single year and he's still hurt? At some point, you can't throw hard enough to be a big league player anymore, which I think he's trending towards. Spring training, he was down to 94 with, we all saw it. Back when he threw 99, his four-seamer didn't move, and he could get away with it. You're throwing 94 with a four-seamer that doesn't move at all? Like, I'm talking 0 inches? You're going to have a problem. He may never pitch in the big leagues again. Just maybe. I don't know. O's are going to lose a lot of guys to free agency. Nobody starting-wise. Nobody at all starting-wise. The only person that hits free agency this year or next year is Mountcastle, but they took care of that, so he's even on the contract next year. And then I think Adley's the first one in 2028, but I think 2030 is the big year that a lot of guys go to free agency, like Gunner and whatnot, Westberg, Holiday. So we'll see. But no, they don't lose hardly anybody next year other than like the 1-year deals, Taylor Ward, Tavares, stuff like that. But that's kind of those kind of roster transitions. They happen all throughout baseball every year. I wish the O's would have acquired Weathers. Man, I've been on that Ryan Weathers train for a while, but he can't stay healthy either. So, we'll see how long he lasts, but it stinks. Gunner should be an Oriole for life. I don't know if it's going to happen. I completely agree with you. I think he should be. He can't make the mistake twice, but you never know. I am going to wrap it up. Should have did that a long time ago before I had 3 kids. You didn't hear that. No, I'm going to wrap it up for the night. Getting kind of tired. 9:51. You can hear my voice is getting a little hoarse here. I'm kind of been battling a cold for this week or something. I don't even know. But anyway, I appreciate every single one of you that are here watching. Joe coming back in with a 5-month membership. Every one of you that liked the stream, we got 34 likes. I truly appreciate that. Again, it does help YouTube push this out to all new people, which is great because we just want to talk Orioles baseball with as many people as possible, which is great. So thank every one of you. The Orioles are back in action tomorrow night. If you don't follow me on Twitter, get your butt on over there and follow me at Pigtown Sports so we can sit here and talk baseball all day long because I post crazy stats all day. And if you're into that kind of thing, follow it. Anyway, I will catch you guys later. Take care. Have a great night and go O's.